Hello my fellow Italians and welcome back to Hetafacts, and welcome to Hetafacts Q&A. Recently I hit 2,000 subscribers, so to show how much I love my fans, this is a video answering all the questions you sent me in the previous video. And if your question is not addressed here, it is because I have either already addressed it, it was not in the comment section of the announcement video, it is getting its own video, you submitted it late, or yours was exactly the same as another question. I also got so many questions that I may have to split this up into two, but I may not. With that, let us begin. But before I begin, a lot of you had asked about my age theory, and I will do a separate video on that. Believe me, I've had this video planned since August, and I am still unsure about my answer. It will probably end up being more of a Heta theory than a Heta mystery, since I am not sure on my answer. Here are some other topics that will get their own video. I've always wondered how the hell the nations would speak to each other given the fact that, you know, they speak different languages. Do you know if Hima has ever written anything about it? I would also like to know your opinion on this because it has been bugging me for a while. Actually, that's a really good question. I guess it's the same way people from other countries speak to each other. Hima hasn't written anything about it. I know everyone who was formerly a Soviet speaks Russian, and everyone speaks English to all the English speakers, and Iceland will always speak English because he is very insecure about his language. But I've always wondered how China and Russia would speak to each other since those are two countries that hate speaking English. Are the countries immortal? Or more specifically, can they die if they attempt to commit suicide? Or can they die if another nation or human tries to kill them? I don't think so. France got shot in the head by Switzerland during the Christmas bloodbath of 2007, and he was perfectly fine. I think they can only die if their nation ceases to exist. But even then, there are some exceptions. This is why this is getting its own separate video. Does Poland have any siblings? None that have been stated, sadly. I heard something that Venetiano and Romano are half-brothers, and Greece was Romano's full brother, but then Venetiano isn't Greece's half-brother? This confuses me. Please clear this up before my brain explodes. Okay, I think I know where you are getting confused. Venetiano and Romano are canonically stated to be brothers. While they are brothers, they are not twins like the fandom thinks they are. Romano is older. It is stated that Venetiano has Germanic blood, while Romano has Arabic blood, hence why Romano's hair is darker. I'm not sure if that means that they are half-brothers, but I don't think this has anything to do with Greece. Turkey, maybe, but not Greece. And now for the question you all have been asking, is Season 7 confirmed yet? No, but it is very likely that we will get a Season 7 since the manga is still ongoing. Is the US-UK drama CD real or fan-made? Fan-made. The audio is from another anime that the two voice actors did together. Are there any canon children of the countries? Not siblings, not parents. I think I see what you're asking. Nothing so far. Hi, sorry to bother you, and I don't know if this has been asked before, but do you know something, literally anything, about APH Pakistan? I do! Hima said that Pakistan was at the Halloween 2011 event, and was probably dancing in the background. When India entered with his dance routine, they were thinking, that bastard. He says, once you study the history of India, you would be amazed by the great interactions between them. Hopefully that means we get this character soon. How come sometimes Precious' eyes are purple and other times his eyes are red? Actually, in most recent art, they're both. Wasn't Hungary the first character to be created in Italia? No, I forget who was, but Hungary was originally going to be male. I think she was the first female ever created. Do you happen to know what Hima thinks about edit blogs? I'm not quite sure what an edit blog is. Can you do something on either what direction you think the anime is going in, or all the major historical events detailed in Canon? I can make a Tumblr post on it, but I don't think I'm going to do a video since it will probably be a list. Actually, the comics that cover historical events are normally titled so. And it's Italia. it doesn't go in any direction. I have lots that bother me, but I keep on forgetting. One I remember is whether the country personification emotions or actions could affect their country state. It's canon that a country could affect its personification, but vice versa? How do the characters' feelings represent those of their respective nation? I honestly don't think they do. Otherwise, England and Iceland would be very depressing places. The relationship and the stars being the nation kind? Any thoughts? You mean how when a nation makes a wish it somehow happens to come true? I think that's just Hema magic. Would China represent ancient China like how Italia represented Renaissance Italy? Or would a different entity represent the civilization much that ancient Greece or Egypt did? Did China know the Roman Empire? And other ancient countries like ancient Egypt? And what about India and China's relationship? India and China aren't on good terms last time I saw. Actually, China was arguing with India about who was better friends with Russia. And there was a comic that came out recently about the spread of cats through the Silk Road, so China must have known Rome or ancient Egypt at some point. Why does Poland cross-dress? Poland was originally going to be made female, but Hema decided to make Hungary the first female character instead, and made Poland a cross-dressing male. Why exactly, I don't know. I also don't know why they both couldn't have been female. Latvia. Shortest Baltic says, if Russia stopped pushing me down, why is Latvia the one that gets shoved down and why is he as tall as an 8-year-old girl? I actually really wanted to address this because I keep getting all these comments like, oh, Latvia's short because Russia pushes him down, it's so obvious, brah. Okay, see this? This is Latvia before being conquered by Russia. And guess what? He's still a midget and is still younger than Estonia. But I will address why he is younger than Estonia in my age video, because it took me hours to figure that out. How long do countries' wounds last? I guess it depends. I mean, we see the scars on nations like the Netherlands, Hessen, Lithuania, and Switzerland, and those all appear to be permanent. But America broke his foot from falling on his face somehow from the ice cream thing, and that eventually healed. I think they heal about as fast as humans do. If I find that I'm wrong, I will do another video on it. What characters do you think will come next? I'm not sure who will be next, but Hema talks about how widely requested the Philippines, Indonesia, Malta, Vatican City, and Malaysia are. Vatican City has been requested since the very beginning of the comic. Sadly, I have a feeling that these characters won't be made anytime soon, because Hemaruya is Hemaruya. Back in 2011, Hema said he has so many ideas for Ireland, but he can't make up his mind. Maybe he'll make up his mind soon, since he said the exact same thing about Portugal. He also said he had a certain design in mind for North Korea and the United Arab Emirates. He also said that Singapore had been designed a while back, but since he has not released that design, we can assume that it was scrapped. And with the release of Persia, we may possibly get an Iran soon. But I have a feeling that Mexico, the United Arab Emirates, and Singapore will come sometime soon. I hope I'm right. Then again, I did predict that Donald Trump would make it into Italia, didn't I? Do you think Spain has his thing? Like the Italy curl or something? Oh, an erogenous zone? Everyone has an erogenous zone! But I'm not the one to teach you about that kind of information. And what's the deal with Ground Sealand? That is a reference to a comic where England has a nightmare about Sealand growing up because a huge mass of land rose beneath his platform. Don't worry, Sealand is still 10 years old. Would you consider Mexico to be part of the North American brothers? I don't know that much about Mexico, but I do know that it was a Spanish colony. I know only a tiny portion of America was Spanish, and none of Canada really was. I don't think that they would be related because they kind of grew up under two completely different roofs. There isn't much English blood in Mexico as there is Spanish blood, and there isn't really a lot of Spanish blood in America. I think Mexico would be more related to more Spanish-speaking countries than America. Does Italy know that the Holy Roman Empire is kind of Germany? Or does he just consider him the Holy Roman Empire dead and Germany someone else? I don't think he does, because if he did, he would probably have not treated Germany like a stranger when they first met. I mean, look at the Bon San Valentino comic. Italy talks about his first love and how it was a boy, but he talks about it like he was another person. Also, Italy tends not to notice things, as we have seen throughout the comics.
If ancient Rome is the grandpa to Italy and Romano, then who are the parents, including for Germania? We know that Grandpa Rome is the grandfather of Romano in Italy, but who are the fathers of Italy and Romano?
That's a very good question, Hema. Who are the Italy's parents? But Germania is actually Prussia's, the Holy Roman Empire, and Germany's direct father, rather than their grandfather. I'm not sure if this also is true for the rest of his brothers. Where the fuck is Mexico? And Latin America? And most of Africa? And why is Italia so out of order in relative to history? Thank you! Why do you think Himaruya hasn't put in the Latin American countries in Italia? I don't know, Hema. Where the fuck is Mexico? And Latin America? And most of Africa? Mexico was mentioned a couple of times, however. America apparently still has a grudge over the Alamo, so he drew a half-assed Mexico on his world map. It is incredibly hard to depict every historical event in order, but yes, it is rather annoying how much it skips around. As for the second question, I think it's mostly based on location. I mean, living in Japan, a homogeneous country, mostly, Asian countries may be more relevant. However, that still doesn't explain the lack of Indonesia and Philippines, though. Or Brazil. But if Hema was American, there would definitely be Latin American countries. Then again, Hema said that he would like to make a set of South American countries that have a lot of alpacas. Perhaps we'll get Peru, Bolivia, and Chile soon.
Are you from Europe?
Define from.
Which country do you want to see in the franchise? And also, do you agree if there was a Philippines character? A male or a female?
What fan-made character do you want to be made canon? The Philippines controversy comes from this photo, which was labeled Asia 3, and was revealed to be a discarded design of Vietnam. There's a whole "the maid is the Philippines" thing, but it's not true. However, Hema has mentioned that the Philippines is one of the most requested characters. I would like to see a female Philippine since I am always more for female characters. Alright, you want to know my opinions? Oh, you'll get my opinions on this. I have a lot of characters that I want to see canonized. But if I had to pick an order, I would say, first, finish the rest of the former USSR because that's my personal preference. 2, make a Brazil. If you are going to make one country out of South America, please make Brazil. It is too important to be forgotten. 3, Indonesia, the Philippines, Israel, and Mexico have been put off for too long. There are too big of fan bases there, and those countries are just too important to leave out. Number 4, more of Africa and the Middle East, especially Lebanon for personal reasons.
What are your top Italia ships?
I am very open to many ships since I do roleplay, but my favorites, excluding my OTP, are Litpol, Sufin, Fruk, Ameripan, Rochu, and Taiviet.
Do you think that the 50 United States should be personified?
No. America's glasses are already Texas, and we have enough inconsistency as it is.
When did you first get into Italia?
Alright, it was right before I entered the 9th grade and I was 14 years old. I remember that exact moment. I had just come back from a northern vacation and my friend showed me a video of Germany throwing a grenade at Justin Bieber. If I find the video, I will link to it in the description. But that was the exact moment I got into Italia. Now it is time to address the Confederate States of America thing. After living in America for a while, I think there should be a Confederate States of America. It is kind of like North and South Italy, but maybe not as much. But the cultures are so different here. My current roommate is from the southern United States, the Glasses to be exact, but other countries have had civil wars and there weren't personifications of the other side, so I'm not quite sure how division works. Or maybe this one died off, or rather was killed rather than unifying, because think about it. Why else would America have both Nantucket and Texas? Last time I checked, Texas was in the south of the United States. So if there was a Confederate States of America, something must have happened. Otherwise, America would not have glasses. I'm really curious. Do you think Canada and Finland share the same body but different minds? Is Canada Finland? Or are they just completely different people with different bodies? I think Finland would be a different person rather than the same person as Canada. What has more Canon-type scenes? Fruck or US-UK? For that, my friend, you would have to do some shipping math. I'm not going to do it, but if anyone at home wants to try it, go nuts. First, you both need to add the one-sided incidents, plus the moments that can be viewed as romantic, plus the scenes where England is being a tsundere, since tsunderes don't show love very well. For the US-UK, you need to divide by all the scenes that could be seen as familial, brotherly, or platonic love. For Fruck, you need to divide by all the rivalrous incidences, and you need to subtract your answer by France just being France. And by that, I mean France just naturally, non-romantically being a flirt and being a perv. And that was 1 mark higher on your shipping test.
What is the most popular ship in the fandom? Or the 3 most popular?
The most popular one would definitely have to be US-UK. But I think Jurita and Sufin come in close behind. Spamano is also somewhere up there.
Have a human format of the Earth? And if so, it means that the country are all his or her sons?
Oh gosh, I hope not. That would ruin so many theories.
Why do you use Estonia's picture with Tumblr eyes?
It's a thing from when I first started my blog. I did a poll on what color Estonia's eyes actually were, and I was fooling around, and I came up with this piece of garbage. Do you think a country's relationship with one another in real life determines or plays a part in the relationship of the characters in Italia? Most certainly. Or at least, it does most of the time. Sometimes, Hima does really well, like with Russia and America, or with Germany and France. Other times, not so great. Lithuania and Poland.
What do you think the actual relationship is between Russia and Lithuania?
In real life and in Italia, not very good. Back in 2014, Lithuania was flipping their shit over what happened in Crimea and even requested some backup forces because they thought they were next. And I think Italia-Lithuania's feelings towards Russia can be described in this episode.
Do you think Prukan can become canon in any way? What is your opinion of it? Do you think Prukan is possible at all? How about US-UK?
Prukan, they haven't had much interaction in the comics at all, but Prussia has expressed a love for maple syrup. As for US-UK, probably on England's side, but, and this is my opinion, I think America is just too young and oblivious to be shipped. I guess I kind of still think of him as a kid. I think he's more too focused on other stuff to be shipped. But that's just my opinion. I just feel weird shipping America with anyone. I mean, I can sometimes ship him with people, but it still feels weird.
What do you think of Denmark?
I think it's okay, but at the same time, I feel that it's kind of just there to give Norway and Denmark a ship. It's not my favorite pair, but at times, it can be cute. Mostly the Italia versions. I also see it everywhere a lot, and I've kind of become numb to it.
I'm so sorry to bother you, but do you happen to know the YouTuber Akidearest? If not, you should see a video or two because you guys' voices sound eerily similar.
I have heard of Akidearest, and I am subscribed to her. She makes very entertaining videos. I didn't think my voice really sounds like hers though, but a couple people have told me that now. It makes me blush.